There is a silent force shaping every second of your life. It doesn't live outside you. It doesn't come from luck, destiny, or circumstance. It lives in your imagination. Everything you see around you, every invention, every skyscraper, every empire, every fortune, was first born in the invisible workshop of someone's mind. Before Thomas Edison brought light to the world, he imagined it in the darkness. Before Henry Ford built the first affordable automobile, he saw millions driving them in his mind. Before Walt Disney created magic on screen, he dreamed of a kingdom when the world called him a fool. This is the truth. You become what you repeatedly imagine. Every thought, every image, every vision you allow to take root inside your mind is programming your destiny. The world outside is only the mirror. The real architect lives within. And if your imagination is full of limits, fear, and doubt, then that is exactly what life will hand you. But if your imagination burns with purpose, with clarity, with faith, then even mountains will move for you. Most people never realize this. They spend their lives reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. They wait for proof before they believe. They want to see before they imagine. But every great soul that ever changed the course of humanity lived by the opposite law. They believed before they saw. They imagined their reality until the world had no choice but catch up. Your mind is a magnet, and it doesn't attract what you want. It attracts what you believe. You can speak affirmations all day, but if your inner movie plays scenes of failure, fear, and hesitation, that's what your life will echo back. So stop asking for more and start imagining more, because imagination is the blueprint of your future. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the person you dream of becoming, not vaguely, specifically. See the details. How that person speaks, walks, works, handles problems, wakes up, spends time, carries themselves when no one's watching. Now realize this. That person already exists in potential form inside your imagination. And the distance between where you are and where you want to be is bridged not by luck, but by daily repetition of that image. Every time you hold that vision in your mind with emotion and belief, you're sculpting your identity. You're teaching your subconscious who you are, and soon the world will follow. The law is simple but powerful. Whatever you consistently impress upon your subconscious, your life will express. That's why Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." He didn't say wish or hope. He said conceive and believe, because imagination without belief is fantasy. But imagination fused with conviction, that's creation. History remembers those who dared to imagine beyond reason. When Edison was told 1,000 times that his idea wouldn't work, he replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's what belief looks like when it's fused with imagination. It becomes unstoppable. And yet today, we've forgotten how to imagine with faith. We scroll through other people's lives, comparing, consuming, reacting, but rarely creating. We've become spectators instead of architects. And the tragedy is, the greatest power in the human mind, the power to imagine a higher reality, lies dormant, unused, untrained. But here's the truth. The mind doesn't care what you feed it. It will grow whatever seeds you plant. Plant fear, and you'll harvest anxiety. Plant faith, and you'll harvest strength. Plant excuses, and you'll live in limitation. Plant vision, and you'll rise beyond the impossible. You must train your imagination the way a warrior trains his discipline. Feed it every day. Protect it from doubt. If you want to change your life, change the movie you play in your mind. See yourself achieving what you desire, not someday, but now. Feel it as if it were real. The subconscious cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. It only knows what you repeatedly experience. And if that repeated experience is one of victory, abundance, and mastery, your outer world will soon match it. That's the law that built empires, cured diseases, turned visionaries into legends. When Carnegie built his steel empire, he didn't begin with machinery or money. He began with a mental picture so clear it became his obsession. When Lincoln envisioned a nation united, he saw it even as war divided it. When the Wright brothers imagined flight, people laughed until they flew. You must do the same. Refuse to live as a victim of chance. Choose to live as a creator of destiny. It all begins in that sacred space between your ears, the mental stage where every masterpiece is rehearsed before it's performed. You're not here to repeat what others have done. You're here to imagine what no one else dared to. But imagination alone is not enough. It must be followed by belief, and belief must be forged through discipline. Because without discipline, imagination fades into wishful thinking, and wishful thinking is the enemy of creation. imagination. So every day you must choose. Will I live from my fears or from my vision? Will I replay the old stories or write a new one? Will I allow the outer world to dictate my reality, or will I use my inner world to shape it? You have that choice every morning. And the moment you begin to live as if your vision were already real, you shift the direction of your entire life. Imagination is the birthplace of all creation. But belief is the fire that gives it life. Without belief, your imagination remains a dream locked in the attic of your mind. It becomes a whisper drowned by the noise of doubt. But once belief enters the equation, that dream ignites into motion. Belief turns the unseen into the inevitable. You see, imagination paints the vision, but belief builds the bridge. And that bridge is built through discipline, one consistent act at a time. Every great achiever who ever walked this earth had one common trait. They believed before the world believed in them. When nobody else saw it, when their friends laughed, when the experts doubted, when even logic turned against them, they held the image firm in their minds. That's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The ordinary wait for proof. The extraordinary create proof through persistence. Faith is not blind. Faith is seeing what the eyes cannot. It is hearing a voice that says, keep going, even when the road disappears beneath your feet. It's the same voice that guided Edison through 10,000 failures. The same force that kept Colonel Sanders pitching his fried chicken recipe over 1,000 times before someone said yes. The same conviction that drove Abraham Lincoln to rise again and again after defeat, humiliation, and heartbreak, until destiny itself bowed to his resilience. That is what belief looks like when tested by fire. But belief alone is not enough. It must be backed by discipline, because imagination without discipline is a spark without fuel. It shines for a moment and dies in the dark. Discipline is the act of aligning your behavior with your vision. It's saying no to distractions that dull your purpose. It's waking up early when your mind screams for sleep. It's choosing growth when comfort calls your name. You will never rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your discipline. So feed your mind daily with the images of who you want to become. Guard your imagination like sacred ground. The world will try to plant weeds in it: fear, negativity, doubt, gossip. But your job is to tend that mental garden relentlessly, because one moment of neglect can undo months of growth. The most dangerous thing you can do is let your mind operate on autopilot, because the world's noise will fill it for you. And the world's noise is designed to keep you small. Look around you. Every screen, every advertisement, every headline tells you what to fear, what to desire, who to be. But greatness begins the moment you take that power back. You stop consuming and start creating. You stop comparing and start constructing. You stop doubting and start doing. Every act of discipline is a vote for the person you want to become. And over time, those votes accumulate into destiny. There is no luck. There is only alignment between your imagination, your belief, and your habits. You cannot imagine abundance while acting from scarcity. You cannot imagine success while seeking failure. You cannot imagine greatness while living in excuses. Everything must align. Your thoughts, your emotions, your speech, your actions, all must move in the same direction. That's how you turn imagination into manifestation. When you wake up each morning, remember, your mind is already shaping your day before your feet touch the floor. So ask yourself, what am I imagining today? What image am I feeding? Because your imagination is not passive. It's a command to the universe. If you imagine struggle, you will notice struggle. If you imagine opportunity, you will attract opportunity. The world rearranges itself around the pictures you hold inside. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose. He said no one ever succeeds without it, because scattered energy cannot create focused results. When you fix your imagination on one clear purpose, you awaken power inside you that was sleeping. Every cell in your body, every thought in your mind begins to align with that purpose. But purpose without persistence is only potential. And persistence is born from faith. Faith that refuses to die even when everything seems lost. When you start walking toward your vision, expect resistance. People will doubt you. Circumstances will break you. Time will test you. But that's not the universe working against you. It's the universe asking, how badly do you want it? Every delay delay, every obstacle, every closed door is a question to your soul. Will you stop imagining when the world says no? Those who stop fade. Those who persist rise. Because persistence is proof of belief. Anyone can imagine success for a day. Few can imagine it through years of struggle. But those few rewrite history. When Walt Disney went bankrupt and was told he lacked imagination, he didn't argue. He imagined harder. When Ford was laughed out of meetings for saying he would build a car for the common man, he imagined longer. When Hill was mocked for writing a book about the power of thought, he imagined stronger. And that is why their names echo through time. You can have that same power, not because you are lucky, but because you are human. And the human mind is the most powerful creation tool in existence. The question is, will you use it or will you waste it? Will you command your imagination or let the world command it for you? Because the truth remains, no one ever built greatness by accident. It was imagined, believed, disciplined, and done again and again and again. Action is the heartbeat of imagination. Without it, even the greatest dream turns to dust. You can see the life you desire. You can believe it with every cell of your being. But if you never move, that image will die inside you. The bridge between imagination and reality is built with motion, not intention. Every single step, no matter how small, is sacred because each action is a declaration to the universe that says, I am serious. It doesn't matter if the path is unclear. It doesn't matter if the results are invisible. The world bends to those who refuse to stop walking. Do not wait for perfect clarity. Perfection is a trap. The greatest innovators didn't wait for certainty. They created it through persistence. When the Wright brothers launched their fragile plane into the sky, they didn't know if it would soar or shatter, but they acted anyway. And in that moment, humanity learned to fly. You can think endlessly, plan endlessly, and visualize endlessly. But eventually, you must strike. Action is faith made visible. Napoleon Hill once said, do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. Those who start imperfectly will always outrun those who wait for perfection. So what does it mean to take action in alignment with your imagination? It means doing what your future self would do today. It means replacing someday with now. It means no longer negotiating with your limitations. Discipline without movement is control without purpose. But discipline fused with inspired action becomes power. Every great fortune, every legacy, every triumph began with one decisive act, taken not in confidence, but in courage. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of it. Understand this. The people who achieve extraordinary success are not fearless. They are faithful. They feel the same doubt you do. They feel the same exhaustion, the same frustration, the same temptation to quit, but they choose to act anyway. And each time they act in the face of fear, they expand who they are. You will never grow inside the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a slow death disguised as safety. It will whisper, you're not ready. It will say, wait until you feel confident. But confidence does not precede action. It follows it. You must act your way into belief. You must work your way into faith. And yes, you will fall. You will fail. You will face rejection, disappointment, and ridicule. But every failure is a forge. Every setback is sandpaper shaping the steel of your character. Ask any self-made giant how they built their empire, and they'll tell you this. They didn't build success. They built themselves. When you strengthen your inner world, your outer world must adjust to match it. So wake up each day with purpose. Remind yourself, I am becoming what I repeatedly imagine. Then act accordingly. You want wealth? Serve with excellence. You want freedom? Master your discipline. You want confidence? Do the things that scare you until they don't. Nothing changes until you do. The moment you align your imagination, belief, and action, you activate a force that cannot be stopped. The universe begins to conspire in your favor, not because it suddenly favors you, but because your energy finally matches your intention. Look at nature. Every seed acts according to its design. It doesn't question, hesitate, or compare. It simply does what it was created to do. Grow. You are no different. You were born to expand, to rise, to evolve. And the only way to betray that destiny is to stop imagining, stop believing, stop acting. When everything feels heavy, when results are slow, when no one seems to notice your effort, that is the moment moment your faith is being weighed. That's the moment your old self is dying so the new one can emerge. Most people quit right there. They think struggle is a sign they're off track. But struggle is not punishment. It's proof of progress. The stronger your vision, the stronger the opposition. Because the universe tests conviction before it delivers reward. Do not curse the difficult. Embrace it. It is polishing you into the person capable of living the life you imagine. There is a law older than time itself. To whom much is given, much is required. If you want greatness, you must be willing to be stretched, broken, and rebuilt. Think of gold. It shines because it has been through fire. Think of steel. It is strong because it has been forged under pressure. Think of yourself. You will rise because you dared to keep walking when it would have been easier to stop. Every act of perseverance sends a message to the universe. I am unbreakable. And the moment the world recognizes that, it yields. When you act long enough, faith replaces fear. When you persist long enough, momentum replaces resistance. And when you imagine long enough, the image becomes flesh and blood. It becomes you. You are not chasing success. You are becoming success. Every time you discipline your mind, every time you move with purpose, every time you refuse to quit, you are rewriting the story of who you are. Remember, success is not something you get. It's something you grow into. And the soil you grow from is imagination, watered by belief, strengthened through discipline, and nourished by action. You are the architect, the builder, and the creation itself. So build boldly, build fearlessly, build as if your imagination were the blueprint of your destiny, because it is. There will come a moment when everything you've imagined, everything you believed, everything you fought for begins to appear. First in glimpses, then in full form. And when that day arrives, you will look back and realize it was never the world that changed. It was you. Because all along, the outer world was just a reflection of your inner one. The battles you faced outside were simply mirrors of the fears you conquered within. The victories you achieved were only the echoes of the discipline you built when no one was watching. That's the secret the greats understood. Carnegie didn't build steel, he built vision. Lincoln didn't preserve a nation, he preserved faith. Edison didn't invent the light bulb, he invented persistence. They became the living proof that imagination, when held with unbreakable belief, reshapes reality itself. And you, yes you, have that same divine machinery inside your mind. Your imagination is not fantasy, it's your spiritual instrument of creation. Your belief is not delusion, it's the code that commands your reality. Your discipline is not restriction, it's liberation from mediocrity. When you understand this, you no longer chase success, you radiate. You no longer beg for opportunities, you create them. You no longer seek validation, you embody worth. You become a living demonstration of what's possible for the human spirit. But here's the truth that few ever learn. The final stage of mastery is not achievement, it's alignment. To imagine great things is powerful. To act with conviction is rare. But to live every day in harmony with your purpose, that is divine. Because success is not measured by what you possess, but by what you express. The truly rich are not those with wealth in their hands, but with vision in their hearts. The truly powerful are not those who control others, but those who have mastered themselves. When your mind, heart, and actions are united in one purpose, life becomes effortless. Not because challenges disappear, but because you are no longer divided. You have become the vision you once imagined, and from that place, everything flows. That's when discipline becomes devotion, work becomes worship, and struggle becomes strength. The world begins to move differently around you. People feel your presence before you speak. Opportunities seem to appear by coincidence, but they're not coincidences. They're confirmations. Confirmation that your imagination has taken physical form. This is what it means to live consciously. To no longer drift through life as a bystander of your own story, but to write it deliberately, word by word, day by day. And when storms come, and they will, you won't curse them. You'll understand them. You'll see that every challenge is the universe's way of refining your strength. Because power without humility is poison, and success without gratitude is emptiness. So remember gratitude. It is the final ingredient. Be grateful not just for what you have, but for what is yet to come. Be grateful for the vision you hold, even before it manifests. Be grateful for the obstacles, for they are the proof that you are growing. Be grateful for the unseen hand that guided you when you thought you were lost. Gratitude turns fear into faith. It transforms scarcity into abundance. It keeps your imagination clean, your spirit humble, humble, and your heart alive. When you wake up tomorrow, don't just plan your day, design it. Speak your vision out loud. Write it, see it, feel it. Carry it through every conversation, every decision, every breath, because the repetition of imagination is the ritual of creation. Every time you imagine your higher self, you give it power. Every time you act like that person, you give it form. Every time you persist through doubt, you give it permanence. Soon there will be no separation between the person you are and the person you dreamed of, because you will have become one and the same. That is the real victory. Not the money, not the recognition, not the applause, but the becoming. The quiet realization that you have finally met a version of yourself that once only existed in your mind. And when that happens, your life becomes a message. Your story becomes a mirror for others still searching in the dark. Your success becomes a light that says, it's possible. Keep imagining, keep believing, keep going. Because the world doesn't need more dreamers. It needs more believers. It needs people brave enough to hold their vision when the world calls them unrealistic. It needs people willing to fail publicly, to rise privately, to endure quietly. And to build relentlessly. You are one of those people. You were born with imagination, not to escape reality, but to shape it. Born with belief, not to survive the storm, but to command it. Born with discipline, not to restrict your freedom, but to earn it. So from this moment forward, stop asking, when will it happen? Instead ask, who must I become for it to happen? Because the answer is always the same. You must become the person you repeatedly imagine. That is the journey. That is the calling. That is the law of creation itself. So imagine boldly. Believe fiercely. Discipline yourself ruthlessly. Act courageously. And give thanks endlessly. For when your imagination becomes your identity and your belief becomes your reality, the impossible ceases to exist. The light you've been chasing was never outside of you. It was within you, waiting for you to remember what you are capable of. You were not meant to live small. You were not meant to drift or doubt or merely survive. You were meant to create. You were meant to expand. You were meant to become. And now you know the truth. You become what you repeatedly imagine. So imagine something worthy of you and then become it.